Hi, my name is Lindsay and I'm a registered psychotherapist. I've created this series on Walk the Talk to be able to have an opportunity to share a little bit about my experiences of what it's like to be able to create habits that really align with my values over the years. So today I want to talk about how to get things done when you really don't feel like it. We all have that 1, 2, or 5 things throughout the day that we know we need to get done because it's a responsibility, it's part of our work, or it's part of our family life that just absolutely needs to happen, but we hate doing it. So how do we get around that? How do we make those changes, right? Some of the things that I've discovered through research and through my own trial and error and practice over the years is that even though we don't feel like doing something, or even though we don't have the motivation to do something, we still can if we're able-bodied and mobile, right? And so what we need to do is just to find some external cues or some different ideas that we can use to help make it suck a little bit less, to put it very simply. So some of the things that I find absolutely key when it comes to, let's say, doing chores on the weekend or throughout the week to help it make it suck less is that I will bring my laptop into the kitchen when I'm cleaning up or cooking to watch some Netflix, maybe, most recent episode or upload of whatever your favorite show is. For me, I just finished binging the newest season of Lucifer, right? Or we can put some music on and dance around. One thing I find that's a really big part of my self-care is dancing and singing. Like no one is watching, even if they are. I find this really helpful to re-energize me. So what I'll do to help, get through a chore while also having fun with it is to, blast Lizzo's album throughout the house. Or, if my partner is working, I just put some headphones in and dance around and kind of, get two birds stoned at once so that I can just make it a little bit more enjoyable. Now, of course, we're not always going to have the opportunity to be able to have some Netflix on in the background, or maybe music doesn't work. So is there something else that you can do to make it a little bit more enjoyable? Maybe for you, in a healthy way, that's having a glass of wine, or, making a nice little virgin cocktail, or maybe that's making some of your favorite tea, right? Being able to use, food or drinks in a healthy and in a balanced way to just give yourself a little bit of a reward. Oftentimes in our culture, we really focus on rewards having to come after, if at all, fulfilling certain responsibilities. But why not have your cake and eat it too? Maybe you'll actually have some cake and have that as a part of, the chores that you're getting done. If, you can't multitask, we don't want to be multitasking, but if you can't pair, a passive activity like listening to music or watching, a cheesy sitcom that isn't too much of a thriller, if we can't pair a passive activity with a more active, project that you're working on, another thing that you can do if you really don't want to do the task is to simply commit to starting with 5 minutes. I'm going to do it for 5 minutes. I'm going to put a timer on, 5 or 10 minutes, whatever you're feeling up for, and just start with that. So really break it down into 5-minute intervals, set a timer. Once that timer goes off, if you were kind of kicking and screaming the whole time and don't want to do it any longer, that's fine. You simply give yourself permission to stop, and maybe you'll come back to the task, tomorrow if there isn't a tight deadline, or maybe you'll come back to it in an hour and switch up what you're doing for the hour and then just come back and do another 5 minutes. When it comes to completing tasks, there's this belief that motivation must come before action. Research shows that actually the opposite is true. So when we start with an action and we start to build some momentum, so we go from being a tin man, to slowly moving and getting the joints moving, right, to use a metaphor here. If we start with a small action, this will actually help us to create momentum, and then after some time, this continual process of engaging in this action will lead to motivation. So this is a huge myth in our society that I wanted to debunk today, and to just let you know that Nike has a really great motto, and sometimes we have to just do it. So start off, if you're really hating a task, think about what can I do differently to make this suck less? How can I have more fun with this? Maybe I want to dance around. Maybe I want to get the kids in the kitchen helping me and let them listen to their favorite music to, make it a little bit easier to delegate to them or to our partner, right? Or to look at, okay, can we have a little treat while we do this, right? Or maybe we do want to save the reward for after if it's a bigger treat, right? But just think about, okay, what can I do to just start with, a bit of time to get this task going? Because at the end of the day, doing 5 minutes of the task is better than doing none, right? So think about these two different techniques of what might work for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. See you next time for Walk the Talk.